So we're Team BA. I'm a UX designer and...
Yeah, I'm kind of a product strategist.
So this was our brief. It was looking at British Airways has realised the potential of using a voice user interface to remove the friction from their customers' experience and is planning to develop an Alexa skill. And the two features we were to look at was the ability to check the status of their booked flight and the ability to check for the cheapest flight to a destination.
So kind of in general, to summarise sort of everything that we discovered from doing the research, and then also a little bit from looking at competitors, which we'll show in a minute. We kind of both wanted to make managing your flights easier, so things that you already had booked, and kind of quickly discovering new destinations. Like when you're trying to discover a new destination, or when we were trying to get someone to search for a specific destination, it's like too much information necessary for a voice experience. Sort of booking, for example, we thought was not appropriate, so we didn't go near that. So this is kind of what we took on board for choosing what we created in our skill.
So we took some of our insights and research in that and created a user persona. Our user persona is somebody who has family who lives abroad. So she travels a lot throughout the year. So she has regular flights, but she also has some disposable income that she likes to use to go and spend on a bigger holiday. So she likes to find new and exciting places to travel that she's not been to. We then did a user journey map to see how a user would sort of discover the skill and their first experience of setting it up. And this really started to point out to us at this stage how complex it would be to try and find a very specific flight. If you're having to say the destination, what class of flight you want to go to, when you want to come back, all of that information created this really long journey. And so it sort of guided us from this point. How can we condense this into a much smaller, quicker experience?
We then kind of looked at a few of the competitors, and then EasyJet's one is actually just about the kind of checking your status. In general, this sort of, whilst we have tried to cover a lot, we try to think how can we make it simpler in each stage.
Now to go through a little bit of our user flows. This is just sort of like the basic launch intent, going into a welcome message and the different actions you can give. This was initial flow that we removed from the end prototype, but actually when we started prototyping this and testing it, it just felt like a really long process that people would just go back to using a visual interface because they could check the price differences across days and things like that. So we kind of felt that this was turning out not to be a good use case. We did like a pure discover flight. So it's looking at how can we get, like our user persona, somebody who's just sat with their friends and they want to know somewhere new they could go and roughly how much it would cost them. Yeah, this is like a mock-up of what our skill would look like in the App Store.
And we said it makes managing flights easier with hands-free updates and information on your upcoming flights and flights saved in your account, and get notifications when prices change or quickly find out how much baggage allowance you have on your next flight.
So this is a video of one of the prototype of discovering a flight working.
Open Discover VA.
Welcome to British Airways. Would you like to hear the status of your flight or discover a new flight?
Discover a new flight.
Okay, what type of holiday would you like?
City break.
Okay, when would you like to go?
Beginning of September.
And for how long?
4 days.
Okay, I found several flights. The cheapest is £271.
The actual very end of the skill was the hardest bit to write the script for because it was a lot of information to convey. We had to kind of adjust the way the script was so you could understand from the slightly robotic voice. We were before saying AM and PM on the times, and that made it feel very unnatural and very awkward to remember the information. And actually changing it to say in the morning and in the evening made it clearer, although it was slightly longer.
As we said, we kind of went light on a few things, but we thought, maybe looking more into the notification side of it for sort of saved flights, or even for like, you have a flight tomorrow, looking into the ability to check in through the skill. In general, further sort of testing and iteration on what we've created so far, given that some of the things kind of were late entrants. And that was it.
Thanks.